Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sisters of the Strange. I'm Landrey.
And I'm SpongeBob from that episode where he has the suds.
Yes, she is.
I'm a little sickly, but we're going to get through this, and it's going to be fine. Just don't worry about my nasally voice.
Yeah, bear with us. She texted me on like Tuesday and was like, I don't have a voice. And I was like, surely by Sunday. No, you've been through it for like the whole week.
I'm making it through, though. I can actually talk today.
And you went to work.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, newsflash. When you're sick, the world does not stop moving.
It does for me.
I had to tell my husband that this morning.
No, I give up everything.
He was like, you're never going to get better if you don't just like stop. And I'm like, well, got shit to do.
Yeah, we're busy over here. I like either am manic because I'm tired of being sick. So then I'm like cleaning everything, or I'm like, don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. I will be laying right here. Don't.
I will get like cabin fever really bad if I just sit and do nothing for days and days and days. Like if I would have been doing nothing since Tuesday when I first got sick, I would be losing my absolute mind.
Yeah, I get that.
So I've just been staying busy, which is not a good thing. But no. I mean, I get it. But also like there's stuff that I have to do. So
yeah, I'm like, what is the science of just laying in bed? I have blackout curtains, so no light in my room. What's the science of me laying in bed and being like, I know it's a full moon right now?
Oh.
What is that with me? I knew it was a full moon. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I couldn't sleep. I woke up at 3 a.m. every night this week.
I know that it's a full moon because of my job. When it's a full moon, the hospital goes to absolute shambles.
Yeah. It can be signs that you're like a mini witch. Like a little witch is like something about like the full moon. Like you just know.
Whenever you're drawn to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a few other things that I was like, oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I already knew I was witch because I have the same birthday as Stevie Nicks and she's the white witch.
Yeah,
so
duh.
like I already knew that.
Yeah.
And she has blonde hair and brown eyes and I'm like,
Mother.
Yeah.
Mother. I have her lyrics tattooed on my arm.
Love that.
Literally.
So you have me tattooed on your arm technically. Actually. Yeah. That's all I had. Those are my weird little, maybe I'm a mini witch.
You are. 100%.
I downloaded the app actually on my drive here. I downloaded Daily Horoscope and I downloaded CoStar.
What is CoStar?
CoStar is like a personal horoscope situation. I haven't even logged in yet.
I might have to download that. I like that.
Yeah.
I haven't ever been a big horoscope person, but
I'll read mine randomly. I'll read mine randomly and be like, yeah, that really fits. And then I'm like, I like try and think of like me, but like in Aaron's shoes and be like, but would it fit him too? Like, is it something that's just generic, you know? And normally it is kind of like
pretty
more pinpointed. Where I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I feel that.
Okay.
So TikTok was gone for like 13 hours.
Yeah.
I was really upset, very lonely, very sad, very bored.
Yeah.
And then I woke up this morning and it still wasn't working. And Landry was like, bitch, my TikTok is working. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, literally, what?
What are you talking about?
Mostly because I was sad because we were going to have to really work even harder to like post shit on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube Shorts because our TikTok really is the only thing that has been growing super organically, like super fast.
I'm like, I was about to be buying people on Instagram. I'm over it. Instagram is not for me right now.
So I was really worried about that. I mean, so was Landry, but
yeah,
I'm chronically online. I know we've talked about this before, but like it's a really big problem. But anyway, this morning it's back. It's back.
Because I literally like clicked on it out of habit so many, and I don't
Me too.
I don't watch things on TikTok. I post on our TikTok. Like I click on it all the time to look at it, like our likes or like if we've gotten random, you know, like if one of our videos has randomly come back into surface or whatever. And so last night I was like just sitting there and I was like, Janie was at my house. I was talking to Janie and then I was like watching TV and then I'd like be on my phone and I'd do something random that I click TikTok and I was like, what am I doing? Like, it's not, why am I, it's just a habit.
And it's like,
yeah. Nope. Sorry. Wrong.
I have a whole conspiracy about the whole TikTok thing and I'm not going to get super into it, but knowing the fact that they can just like shut down this app and just like completely turn it off and nobody can fucking use it. Mm-hmm. Why are we not doing that for everything else? Like the child pornography websites and the dark it makes me so mad.
Do you know what tomorrow is?
No.
Inauguration day.
Oh yeah.
That's where my brain's they're distracting us.
Obviously.
They're doing something, their hand is over here while we're over here.
And that's fine. I get that. I 100% agree with that. But also, are we joking right now? If you can do that, you can fucking do that too. And I'm sorry about my language, but that shit pisses me off to no end. And I'm like, ooh. So I heard a thing this morning that said, just remember, kids, If you think the government would never do that to you, yes, they fucking would.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you. Goodbye. I could get on a soapbox about that, but we're not going to do that today. Are we ready to talk about murder?
I love murder. Let's do it.
Okay. This is a good story. Oh my God. I was going round and round on what I was going to do this week, and I could not decide, but I finally landed on one, and I'm really excited to talk about it. So today I am going to talk about the story of Mary Vincent. Have you ever heard of her? Okay. If you've heard of her, you know, and if you don't know, then you're going to freaking find out. I heard this story for the first time on one of my favorite podcasts from a couple years ago, My Favorite Murder. Those two girls, incredible. They did this episode and it absolutely blew my mind. It's going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
I know I told you a little bit about it, but like the extent of it is just nuts. This one's a roller coaster ride, a bloodbath of a roller coaster ride. So let's just get into it.
A bloodbath of a roller coaster ride.
Dude, I'm so serious.
Hell yeah.
So Mary Vincent was 15 years old in September of 1978, and she was one of 7 children. Okay, so she had lots of siblings, and obviously she lived at home with her parents. Her parents' marriage sucked. They were very unhappy. They didn't live like a super great life. They weren't like super poor, but they also really didn't have a lot of money to like live really well. So they just kind of like were like, whatever, we have 7 kids, but we hate each other, so we don't really care type situation. Tensions were super high in the house. They were growing every day. Her father was just like a mechanic and her mother was a blackjack dealer. They lived in Las Vegas, so it's not really like that crazy of a job if you think about it. Because at first I was like, blackjack dealer, okay, what a career choice. But they live in Vegas, so like
what a career choice.
Yeah, so it like makes sense to me. I'm like, oh, that would be like working at a chicken restaurant here in Weatherford.
Yeah.
You know? Or like a Mexican food restaurant.
Definitely the chicken. Definitely the chicken.
So anyway, they had gotten married like a billion years ago when her father was in the military. One of those things, you know, you get in the military, you get married immediately. So it was one of those marriages, and then you're unhappy, and then you have 7 kids, and then later you're like, fuck.
And get me out.
I'm a blackjack dealer in Las Vegas. Somebody help me.
I love that sequence of events.
Right. It goes downhill really fast. Anyway, like I said, they lived in Las Vegas. Her parents start to go through this divorce. It starts dragging on. It's getting worse and worse. And 15-year-old Mary's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm out. Peace.
Deuces.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm 15. I'm a grown adult. I'm out. I'm just going to go make my way in Las Vegas. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So at 15 years old, she ran away from home and she started to live on the streets, basically surviving one day at a time. And she would like sleep in random unlocked cars that she could find and just doing her thing. Then during her little run away from home bout, she decides that she's going to go hitchhike to Berkeley, California. So her grandfather lived in Berkeley, California. So she's like, I'm going to get there, but I'm not going to like take a bus or something. I'm just going to hitchhike. Mary, has nobody ever told you not to talk to strangers or get in a car that don't hitchhike?
That was such a common thing back then, though.
Right, in the 70s and 80s.
That's how like Charles Manson or whatever got like all of his people.
I know, but it still blows me away that people were just like, yeah, it's fine.
Hop in.
Yeah.
Because today I see people today and I'm like, oh, I want to help them, but they'll kill me.
Oh my God, no. Never.
That's why I'm like,
you could
I really want to, but I know that I'll die.
You could literally be the sweetest looking old lady carrying a baby and a kitten on your back, and I would be like, that's a murderer right there.
Yeah, sorry, but you should
Stone
not be
cold.
hitchhiking.
Stone cold murderer. Nope.
Yeah, no.
Don't ever ask me for a ride because I won't give you one.
No, Aaron will, but he's like, just get in the bed of my truck.
That's different.
Me, I'm like, get in the trunk.
Yeah, get in the trunk. Here's the duct tape. Put it on yourself.
Yeah.
So she just like goes against all laws of life and just starts hitchhiking from Las Vegas to California. Mary makes it to Berkeley. She's in Berkeley with her grandpa. And now she starts to get homesick. So she makes it to Berkeley. She makes it safely. She hitchhikes all the way there from Las Vegas. Well, now she's homesick. So instead of having old granddad take her back to Las Vegas, she decides she's going to hitchhike back.
Mary.
So she hitchhikes to Berkeley. And she's like, it was fine. Everything was great. I'm ready to go home now. I'm going to hitchhike again. Lightning never strikes twice in the same spot. Don't push your luck, Mary. I already said it once. I'm going to say it again. Mary, serial killers exist now, okay?
Now.
We're not hitchhiking anymore. So September 29th, 1978, along her hitchhiking funtime partyland back to Las Vegas, just outside of Modesto, California, Mary gets into the vehicle of Lawrence Singleton, a middle-aged man who seemed very harmless to her. What did I say? Little old lady with a kitten and a baby on her back. Murderer.
Yeah.
Everybody that you don't know is a murderer. Forever and always. I will die on that hill. So he pulled up in a blue van, an empty van, and there was a couple of other people who were like kind of in the area of where Mary was like hitchhiking, and they were all kind of together, like hoping that they could all, because they were all going the same way, hoping that they would just like catch a ride all together. He pulls up in the van and he only has room for one person in this empty van. And he says that like, I only have room for one person. So like, I'll take you. And the other people behind Mary were like, you know, maybe don't go with him, girl.
Yeah, we're good right here.
That seems a little sketchy. He only has room for one teenage girl.
In a van.
In a big van. Maybe not.
I need the TikTok of the guy with the red flag. The massive one where he's running across the field.
Yes.
I need one of those.
Yes.
We need to buy flags to keep here.
Oh my God. Red flag. Red flag.
Put it back down.
I would just hold the red flag up the whole time. At this point, you have to think like, okay, he's sketchy. He's sending off red flags, but like you're so tired. You've been hitchhiking across states for however many hours and days, and you just want to get back home. You're homesick. You're ready to get back to where you're supposed to be. Whatever. You're just going to do what you have to do to get there.
And what time of year is this again? Like September?
September. Yeah, it's fall.
It's still kind of hot.
Probably, yeah. But it's probably cool in the desert.
Maybe at night.
Yeah. I don't know if it's nighttime or not.
Like, but during the day. But I mean, she's traveling like days on end.
Right.
You know, so
she gets in the van. Let's talk about Lawrence Singleton for a second. Lawrence was born in Tampa, Florida, July 28, 1927, and he worked as a merchant seaman. Merchant seaman. Florida man strikes again.
Dude, they're everywhere.
I literally wrote that in my notes. I was like, that's so funny. Of course he's from fucking Florida.
Aren't they the number one state for serial killers?
You know, I don't know, but Florida people are fucking crazy.
I thought they were like the number one for serial killers or so. I thought there was like states ranked.
You know, I truthfully don't know the answer to that, but I could see them being pretty high up there. But honestly, I feel like California's probably.
I'm about to look that up. You can continue if you want, but I'm going to.
Yeah, let me know. Pause me when you get there. So there's not much really else known about his early life, but there is reports that he was a heavy drinker and a mean drunk with 2 failed marriages and a teenage daughter whom he had no real relationship with. Shocker.
Sounds like a great guy.
Shocker. Lawrence is a great guy. So they start driving, as they would, obviously. And Mary is kind of like falling in and out of sleep. She's tired and she falls asleep. And when she wakes up, she becomes super suspicious because she realized that Lawrence is driving in the wrong direction.
Yeah. I'm right. Stop, drop, and rolling out of a moving vehicle.
Exactly. So she's like, something's wrong here. And she's like, starts to tell him like, hey, you know, you're going the wrong way, whatever. So he pulls off onto a deserted road. And this is where she attempted to escape. When she realized that like something was like really, really wrong at this point, she starts to tie her shoe because she realizes that her shoe's untied. And he was an old man. She's 15 years old. She's like, I can outrun this guy. So she's like, let me tie my shoe because it's untied.
Yeah.
I'm going to tie my shoe and then I'm just going to take off running. He's not going to catch me.
Yeah.
So before she was able to finish tying her shoe and run away, all of a sudden, Lawrence comes up behind her and knocks her completely unconscious in the back of the head with a sledgehammer. Sledgehammer to the dome.
Girl.
That's pain. Eventually, she regains consciousness. And listen, Mary's a fighter, okay? She regains consciousness as she's tied up in the back of this van. Lawrence had sexually assaulted her, and he continued to do so until the sun came up. So multiple times. He pulls Mary out of the van. She's completely naked, has injuries from the assault. She's bleeding from her head. She's bleeding from, everywhere. And she's like asking him, like, please just let me go. I won't tell anybody. Like, just let me go.
Yeah.
Whatever I need to do. Like, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Just please, let me go. So Lawrence supposedly tells her, quote, you want to be set free? I'll set you free. End quote. And Lawrence pulls a hatchet out of his toolbox, grabbed her by her left arm, and chopped it off at the elbow in 2 swings. Then took her right arm and chopped it off at the elbow. This one took a little bit longer because she was like fighting back, trying to fight back with one arm.
Yeah.
And so that one took a little bit more than 2 chops, but he ultimately was able to, he cut both of her arms off. So Mary literally was just laying there bleeding out. I cannot imagine, like, I don't even know, like, are you alive? Are you awake? Are you conscious?
I don't think you're feeling anything at that point. Like, I think you're so shocked. Like,
you have
shock.
to be.
Yeah.
You have to be. So she's laying there completely still. She's not moving. Then, are you ready for this fucking shit? This story's about to get crazy.
It's about to
get crazier.
Oh, gosh.
Lawrence drags her supposed dead body to the side of a 30-foot cliff and threw her off of a 30-foot cliff into a culvert and leaves her there to die. Because he thinks she's already dead. She probably is, honestly.
Yeah.
If you ask me, she's already dead.
Both arms cut off? Yeah, I'm dead.
So
I'm dead.
He leaves her there to die off of Interstate 5 in Del Puerto Canyon, somewhere in California. So he throws her off of this
30 feet
to die. She's not dead. She fucking lives.
Ma'am.
She is still alive.
Head to the hammer. Or hammer to the head. Head to the hammer.
Sledgehammer to the head.
Yeah.
Sexually assaulted multiple times.
No arms.
Cut both of her arms off. And thrown off of a 30-foot cliff. She's alive.
Girl. I don't know what she's on, but she's on something.
She is alive. It's fucking insane.
That's absolutely nuts.
So she's laying there, again, when she's thrown off this cliff. Not only are both of her arms cut off, still, her arms are still gone. Now she has 4 to 5 broken ribs, and her body is just like going into shock, like really fucking fast from blood loss.
Yeah.
Obviously. So she's like laying there and she's like, I don't know what to do. Should I get up? Should I just stay here and die? I'm really tired. I'm cold. I don't want to move. Like everything fucking hurts. But then she starts to think to herself, I cannot let this happen to somebody else. Get your ass up. It's time to go, Mary. Get up. So she's fighting back and forth with the fact of if she's not going to get up or not, or if she's just going to lay there and die. But she's like, no, this is not going to happen to somebody else. We got to get up. Let's go.
Girl.
So she fights through. So then this freaking badass of a woman sticks both of her where her arms are cut off. She sticks them in dirt and just starts packing them with dirt to turn it into mud to stop the bleeding. Because she's still bleeding. So she starts to like pack her arms with mud and dirt because it's the only thing that she has. And she just thinks of that. I wouldn't think of that.
No.
And then she holds them up above her head so that she can like slow the bleeding.
That is so smart. I would have just died right there,
right.
Honestly.
Right.
Honestly, her being already kind of semi-unconscious when she fell is probably what saved her. But
this story blows my fucking mind.
That's insane. I don't know if I don't handle stress well, and if she does, but my brain does not work like that in a situation where I'm stressed out, I don't think.
Not in a situation where I'm about to be dead.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to start saying my prayers and I'm just going to make my peace.
Yeah, make my peace with God. I'm going out. Goodbye.
That's crazy.
So she sticks her severed arms in the dirt and packs them and turns it into mud and stops the bleeding. Okay. Then she climbed up the fucking cliff with no arms. She makes her way back up the cliff.
Mary.
To get to the road.
Holy shit.
Mary's a freaking badass, dude.
Yeah, this is a bad bitch.
If you thought you knew where this story was going, you didn't.
I'm like, that girl ain't got no arms and I'm not picking a fight with her. Like, she's
literally
a badass.
Right. Absolutely insane. So she makes it up the cliff with no arms. This took her hours because when she woke up and got thrown off the cliff, it was morning. She had been assaulted all night. He threw her off in the morning. She makes it back up the cliff. Finally, it's dark again. So this took her all day to lay there, who knows how long, decide that she's going to get her ass up, fight through this, and make her way back up to the road.
That's crazy.
So, at least 12 hours.
Yeah.
So she makes it back up. It's dark. She hears cars in the distance, and she had hoped that there would be like an interstate or a freeway somewhere nearby. So she followed the noise and she walked until she saw cars. She was yelling at them to stop and help her. The first car that stopped was she said that it was like a convertible. There was 2 guys in it, and she was standing there naked, covered in head to toe in blood, with her arms, above her head. And they like drove off because they were probably scared to death. I mean, It literally, I'm sure, looked like something straight out of a horror movie.
I'd be scared.
You're right. I would be scared too. But what's somebody going to do with you with no arms?
Yeah.
Just put her in the back of your car. I can't really blame them because who knows what I would do in that situation.
I would probably think it was some sort of really scary ghost and I would keep driving.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
gotta
go. Person ghost.
Yeah. But it was 2 dudes. Like, come on, don't be a bitch.
Yeah. Pansy.
Yeah. Anyway. So she continues walking down the middle of the road until another car stops. It's a couple. They're like a newlywed couple. They're like on their honeymoon or something. And they stop and they get her in the back of the truck. They call 911 and they just like start driving because they're like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So they just like call 911. They're like, hey, we found this girl. We're just going to start driving towards town. A helicopter picked up Mary on the side of the road and took her to the hospital. She's still freaking alive. So she gets to the hospital. Mary lost almost half of the blood in her body and she had all those broken ribs and, you know, multiple surgeries. And so she makes it. She didn't even get to sleep that much in the hospital because she stayed up all hours making sure that she got the police a perfect composite sketch of Lawrence Singleton. And she did. She got a good enough composite sketch done with the police that a neighbor of his had recognized it and was like, that's who this is. And called the police right away.
Holy shit.
So they find him 10 days later and they charge him with rape, kidnapping, and attempted murder of Mary Vincent. So she gets to see him again face to face. She testifies against him in court.
What
again,
bad
badass.
Dang.
She's like, middle finger to your face, bro. She testifies against him. He's convicted of rape and attempted murder, and he was sentenced only to 14 years, which was the maximum term allowed in California at the time. Bullshit.
Okay.
That is bullshit.
Yeah.
14 years? You're joking me. He cut off her arms and raped her all night long.
And threw
her off a
30-foot cliff. That is someone who was demented.
Literally. But 2 boys who killed their parents because they sexually abused them their whole lives got sentenced to life in prison. I have questions.
That was 20 years later.
I don't care.
Don't care.
Don't care. Anyway, so he's sentenced to 14 years. When she leaves the courtroom, she walks by him. She has to walk by him like within close proximity.
I hope she fucking spit in his face.
He said to her, if it's the last thing I do, I will finish the job.
I hope she spit on him.
She didn't. I wish she would have.
I would have been like, that's funny. Like,
yeah. Nasty ass old man.
Did he die in prison?
We'll get there.
Okay.
So Lawrence was paroled in 1987, 8 years after he was arrested, based on his good behavior. Excuse me?
He cut her arms off.
But he got out on good behavior.
With a hatchet.
8 years later.
Okay. I love our system.
It's so fun. Isn't that so fun? This nasty ass old man gets 14 years and then only has to do half of it because he has good behavior.
After he cut a girl, not a woman, a girl.
A whole ass girl.
Ghoul.
What are we doing?
He cut the ghoul's arms off.
Garbage.
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 That's what I meant to say. Anyway, this pissed off the people of California.
Rightfully so.
I literally wrote that. I said, this pissed off the people of California. Rightfully so. I'm glad you did that. That was great. A lot of people were like up in arms about it, right? So even a car dealer offered him $5,000 to leave the state. Here, take some money and just get the fuck out.
Bye, Lawrence.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him Larry. Bye, Larry.
Right. He's got to go. Larry's got to fucking go. Larry is not his name. It's Lawrence.
No, I'm calling him Larry because I don't like Lawrence is just too long for me.
And someone even detonated a bomb near his home. Like a car bomb.
We're going to get this man out of here one
Bye.
way or another.
He's got to go. Everybody was pissed about it. So authorities were then forced to like place him in a mobile home at San Quentin State Prison until his parole expired the next year because people were literally trying to kill him. After he's released from safety custody, he moves back to Tampa and goes by the name Bill. So Bill moves back to Tampa. He's living his life and then murdered Roxanne Hayes, a working mother of 3 on February 19th, 1997.
California! He should be in jail.
This man should be in jail, but no, he got out because he has good behavior.
Good boy.
Murdered a woman. Murdered her. Straightfully, like to the death this time.
Yeah.
I don't know what I just said. Straightfully to the death.
Straightfully to the death. He was successful this time. How about that?
I didn't go completely all into all the details of this, but a painter basically goes by his client's house and he's going to do some touch-up work. And he sees Bill through the window. And Bill is standing completely naked, covered in blood, standing above a motionless woman on a sofa, stabbing her over and over and over and over. Just reminds me of like a scene of American Psycho.
Yeah.
And the painter describes the sound and he remembers hearing like chicken bones breaking because he was just like. So turns out that Roxanne was a new sex worker and she was just trying to support her family and she had agreed to meet Bill that day for $20 because she was just trying to make some money for her 3 children.
$20.
$20. Okay.
Not like that, but okay.
She didn't know. Anyway, The painter immediately called 911 and police arrived and arrested him and charged him with first-degree murder. God bless America.
And they're like, Bill.
Who's Bill? Ooh.
Oh, you mean Lawrence?
Oh. The guy who... Oh, yeah, the guy who got out on good behavior because he's such a good guy.
Wild.
So Mary comes back to the picture. Mary's back. She is not letting this man go. She comes back to testify again against him on behalf of Roxanne this time.
She flew across the country for this.
Talk about a girl's girl. So this time he was found guilty, thank God, and sentenced to death row in Florida in 1998. However, he actually died of cancer at the age of 74 on December 28, 2001. So he didn't even get executed in prison. Didn't get punished to the full extent of the law because he died before he could be executed, which is really unfortunate. Garbage. So the outrage caused by Lawrence Singleton's crimes and short initial sentencing, California passed a bunch of laws that allowed for longer prison sentences for those convicted of violent crimes, including one law called the Singleton Law that made kidnapping with the intent of committing a sex crime punishable by life in prison.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you. Because what are we doing?
Why wasn't that there in the first place?
Oh my God. That's the end of Lawrence Singleton's life. He dies in prison. Womp womp. Mary eventually gets married. She has 2 sons. She works really, really hard to be an advocate for victims still to this day. And she's also an artist. Despite having 2 prosthetic arms. She has like custom prosthetics that she wears to help her with her paintings and her chalk drawings and things like that. I mean, she does lots and lots of advocate work for sex crimes and things like that. She is beautiful. We'll put pictures of her up. She's so pretty. She's a very positive person despite what happened to her. Yeah. And there's actually a, if you want to hear the story from her, she was on an episode of I Survived where she talks about it firsthand about what happened. It's a short episode and there's like 2 other girls who were on there like with her talking about their stories, but like it's still interesting to see her talk about it and like
her point of view. Yeah.
It's wild. It's like season 4, episode 1, I believe.
I think her sons are probably like, yeah, my mom is like the most badass person you will ever.
Absolutely.
That is so cool.
Absolutely. She talks about the fact that she felt everything. She felt every bit of pain. She felt like when the blood was leaving her body, like the immeasurable pain of her arms being cut off.
Have you ever gotten blood drawn?
Yeah.
And just the draining feeling of just that.
Mm-hmm.
So can you further imagine how much like blood loss, how that truly like...
I couldn't imagine. I don't want to imagine.
No, I've got like one of the big syringes of blood taken, and that alone I almost passed out. Like I had to lay on my back and put my feet above, like in the air.
Yeah.
So I cannot, that is so...
Almost half the blood in her body.
Yeah, she's intense.
She's insane. She is absolutely incredible. And she also recalls, I didn't want to like say this in the middle of the story because I didn't want to give it away too early that she like didn't die.
Yeah.
But she recalls like whenever he cut her left arm off, she was like holding onto his arm with her left arm. And when he went to like, when he chopped it off, it was still holding on to his arm. And when she fell back, she was so confused because she was like, I can see myself holding onto his arm. Why am I falling?
Yeah.
Because her arm was not attached to to her anymore. And she said that he was like trying to fling it to get it off. Could you freaking imagine?
No.
Oh my God. That was horrifying to me.
That is, yeah. I don't have words. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, just crazy.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you're like being attacked by someone and they bring out a hatchet, who thinks they're going to cut your arm off?
Right.
You know?
Like, they're just going to kill you.
Yeah. My instinct is like, they're coming from my head.
I'm going to torture you. He's a sick man. And then same thing with Roxanne, the mom that he murdered, the sex worker that he murdered. He had told the police that there was like a dispute based on like money or whatever, that she had said that she was going to do this and she didn't, blah, 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 or she was trying to take money from him or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, doesn't matter. You shouldn't have stabbed her 37 times. I don't know how many times he stabbed her, but like it was a lot. Yeah. He was covered in blood and he was just going to town, stabbing her in the chest and the face and all the things. And she also, beautiful woman.
It is so scary how serial killers or just people who kill, how their mind works. I watched a video the other day and it's this like teenage boy and he still lived at home with his mom. Mm-hmm. And it's this old man who had gone missing. And the mom found like the head or like the arms or something in the son's room. Mm-hmm. And like the cops body cam footage of the boy like being like...
Yeah, he's like, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, this was his name. And he's like, very like, no remorse, no like, no fear. He was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
He was missing. Yeah. He was,
Yeah. They just completely like separate from everything. It's absolutely insane, but that's just how their brains are wired.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. And then the people who kill just because they're like, oh, I just want to know what it feels like to kill somebody. Yeah.
That's what he said. He said, I want to know what murder felt like or something like that is what he had said.
And that's how a serial killer is born, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm like, it's so scary that there's people like that.
Yeah.
But I did look it up.
The highest count.
Yeah. Oddly enough, Alaska is number 1.
What? Wait,
proportional to its population, Alaska is without a doubt the most popular state among serial killers, with 15.65 serial killings per 1 million inhabitants.
That's because there's only 1 million people there.
I don't know. It says a total of 51 serial murders took place in Alaska.
What?
And then it says number 2 is Nevada.
Oh, that makes sense.
Highest rate of serial killings in the United States among. So I guess these are per
capita.
Yeah. So 12.19 per million inhabitants, and then third is Florida. But it did say California.
See, we were close.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, we're right here. It says, although it doesn't have the same proportion of serial killers per capita as some of the other states on the list, California earned its place amongst the most lethal states associated with serial killings.
See, that's where my brain was, yeah.
Because it says during the serial killer decade of the 1980s, the chilling criminals of the state of California committed roughly a fifth of the 2,670 serial murders nationwide. So 1/5 of basically 3,000 serial murders.
Damn! Shout out California serial killers. They were working overtime.
There really is. Anytime I feel like I hear a serial killer story, I'm like, oh, it's California or Florida.
Yes.
Like that's where my brain goes when I hear serial killers.
Mine always goes to California because I think about Charles Manson and I think about Richard Ramirez, and which is the Night Stalker, and you know those guys.
Did you ever watch The Night Stalker on Netflix?
I don't know. I probably have.
It is slightly traumatizing.
He is very traumatizing.
He literally he didn't have a theory or method on what he was doing.
He just killed people.
Yeah, he just was like, oh, their window's open. I'm crawling in. So that's where Aaron, when he's home, he's like, husband, did you lock our doors? No. Okay, well, Richard Ramirez is going to come kill us. So I'm going to go lock our doors.
No, literally.
That got me for a good while.
I morphed that theory in with the theory of the movie. You've seen the movie The Strangers?
Yeah.
At the very end of the movie, it's one of my favorite movies in the whole freaking world because of the very last scene, the very last line in the movie where they're like, why are you doing this to us? And they said, oh, because you were home.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Have you seen the new? There's a new one out.
Yes.
Have you watched it?
Yes.
I haven't watched it.
It's good. The first one's still better, but it's good.
My biggest thing on the first one is I think they did have a gun and they still didn't use it correctly, or it took them a long time. But I'm always like, why do you not have a gun? Every serial killer show I ever watch, every murder movie I ever watch, I'm like, but there's so many people who don't have a gun. But I'm like, why do you not have a gun?
And also
just protection. Why do you not have something to just take somebody out for a minute?
Yeah.
Why do you not have a plan? I have a plan. I have a plan everywhere I go. I'm sitting at a restaurant. I have a plan with how the hell I'm getting out of there.
No, I do too. I feel that. But also sometimes you just don't know how you're going to react in a situation. You really and truly just don't know unless it's happening to you.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I'm like, I would shoot somebody if they ever came into my house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I hear a noise and I walk out without my phone or without a gun, and I walk around the house naked.
And then you're like, oh.
Yeah.
This is how I die.
Yeah, that was not my best idea.
Right. You just don't know.
Yeah.
I've said that before too. And one time I was sitting at my mom's house and I was by myself and there was somebody banging on the door and it was late at night and it was during the holidays. And I was really confused because it was late.
Yeah.
But I was by myself and I knew that my parents had a shotgun in their bedroom. So when I heard the door knock the first time, I went there to the bedroom, didn't grab the shotgun. Then I heard the knocking again, banging on the door. And I ran into my mom's closet and I just shut the door and cried and called my mom. And I was like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
Somebody's trying to get in this house. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And it was the Amazon guy.
Why are you banging on the door like that?
Right. Also, exactly. He was banging on the door twice. But then whenever I finally got the courage to get out of the closet and go open my bedroom window to see who it was, a fucking Amazon guy.
You know what?
Sir, you dropped the package. Get the fuck off my porch.
Yeah, we're not banging on the door like that. I accidentally, I almost shot my husband one time.
I almost got shot by my stepdad one time.
Yeah. I'm yep, we almost did it. So in my house, I live on a corner. And I like have a fence, but like it's like not on my house. It's like just to block off one side of the property and the other side of the property. Mm-hmm. So like technically if you're driving down the main road, you can see all three sides of my house. And if you're driving up the back side, you can see the back of my house. Mm-hmm. Like my house can be seen from every whatever. There's only one window in my whole entire house. And I'm like, if someone's going to break in, it's going to be that window. And it's my guest bedroom window because it's on the very back far corner of the house where I'm like, it's the darkest place. If someone's going to break in, this is where they're going to break in at. Mm-hmm. And like during the summer, we had to get our AC worked on and like I had to hang up night or like block whatever curtains because our bedroom has 4 windows or 3 windows and it's the west wall where all the sun comes in. And so I was like, hey, we're going to have to figure it out. But I would get hot and I'd go sleep in the guest bedroom. And my husband works out of town and he works 2 weeks and 1 week. So I know when he's coming home, like he comes home, a certain time. I know. So I'm laying in that room where I'm like, this is the only room someone would break into, whatever. And I fall asleep and my phone, I have to put it on like a do not disturb because if I don't want to be woken up, I've got to wake up and work the next day, whatever. I don't let it to where Aaron can even break it because he is on night shift sometimes and I don't want him to text me and wake me up. So my phone wasn't going to wake me up. And I hear just like on the window and I was like, oh, absolutely not. And I grabbed the gun. I like slept with the gun. Anywhere I go sleep, the gun like my shotgun goes with me because that's my defense weapon. As I like started to pick up my shotgun and then I looked over at my phone and it was said husband or Aaron or whatever. And I answered it and I was like, what is going on? And he was like, hey, I came home. I surprised you. And I was like, I literally fell asleep 20 minutes ago texting you. And he's like, I honestly thought you knew because you have my location. And I was like, well, I wasn't checking your location because I just thought you were at work.
Right.
Like, you just almost got shot through the window. What are you doing? Think about it. Think about it next time.
So say my husband did the same thing one time when I was living over there at the barn and I was by myself and had the dogs. This man was out of the country. He was out of the country, came home early, did not tell me because he wanted to surprise me that he was coming home early because I was sad that he was gone. I missed him.
Yeah.
And he was homesick and they were going to like do some like stuff that they had to do out him with his mom.
Yeah.
And so it was like he had to go. It wasn't like a vacation. So they were gone and they were supposed to be gone for like a week or a weekend or whatever. Anyway, they ended up being gone for a very short amount of time. He didn't tell me that he was coming back. And I just thought that they were
busy,
gone. They're in another country.
Yeah.
Hello. You're not just going to whip it on home. So it's like late at night. I was actually with you. We went and had drinks at the cantina and we stayed out until like 10 or 11.
Oh yeah. You went home early to take care of the dogs.
Yeah. And I was like, I have to leave because my dogs have been we were there for hours.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't seen each other in a while.
Yeah.
So we just hung out all night. So apparently my husband had been traveling home that evening and I didn't know. And he was waiting for me to get home. He knew that I was out with you. And I was like, oh, well, me and Landrey are just like, we're catching up. We haven't seen each other in a long time. Yeah. Like we're having a good time, whatever. And he's like, okay, well, the dogs, just let me know whenever you get home. Like, be careful. The dogs need to like, don't forget about the dogs, And I was like, oh, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, we do have this.
So it was like 10:30 or 11. It was later than like I would normally stay out.
Yeah.
So I get home and apparently he and his mom had been just driving around waiting for me to get home. And I had been with you for hours.
We're just sitting there drinking, hanging out, bullshitting.
I didn't want to say anything because he didn't want to ruin the surprise. So then I get home, I like take a shower. I'm like in bed, have my robe on. I'm like all cozied up, like ready to go to sleep. And all of a sudden I like hear my garage door open. And I'm like, what the And I don't hear like the door, like the garage, like door open, but I heard like the, So I was like, what the fuck? And I had the pistol like on the nightstand so that it was there so that if I needed it, I could grab it.
Yeah.
And so I like, the dogs are like growling and like barking, but like, I'm like, what is going, they like wouldn't go down the stairs. And so I was like, what the frick is going on? So I like halfway walked down the stairs and I'm like listening and I'm like looking and I'm like, I don't see anybody. I don't see any shadows. I don't hear anybody. Like who is at my house? I'm scared. So then I go back upstairs and I grab the pistol and I come back down. And I like don't have it like loaded or anything. I still have the safety on. Like it's not, I just have it for show, yeah, basically. Like... And I come down the stairs and then the dogs like are all excited and I look and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? I could have shot you.
You're like, I just almost pistol whipped your ass.
I was like, you should have told me. It was so funny. And he like grabbed the gun from me. He's like, oh yeah, you were going to shoot me. It was on the safety.
You're like, well, I was being careful. Look, our dad taught us to never shoot blind, okay?
Right. It's so funny. But yeah, that's dangerous. Men, don't do that.
Don't surprise a Texas
because women
woman.
like us, we will shoot you.
I will shoot you. Which my husband knows that. Like, he's smarter than that.
The teabag hit me in the mouth. It scared me.
I'm like, my husband should be way smarter than that.
Yeah.
I taught Landon when he moved in with us because he's a 14-year-old and he lived in a house where he snuck out all the time and did willy-nilly things.
Who?
Yeah. And I said, what?
TikTok is back in the US. A whole ass notification from TikTok. Anyway.
But I told him, I said, when he moved in, which we live out. He's scared of the dark. So like, he doesn't like being outside of our house.
Don't tell that man secrets to the whole world.
Sorry. No one he knows listens to this podcast anyways. But he's scared of the dark, whatever. He's not scared of the dark anymore. He actually sleeps in the dark at our house. Like, he actually, he did have a nightlight and he now takes it out of the wall. So,
aw, Landon, grown up.
I know, I make him feel safe, I guess.
Aw.
But I told him, I was like, do not sneak out of the house. If I hear the front door open and I know it's not supposed to open, if I hear the back door open, like, I know it's just me and you. So if I hear it open, like, I'm walking out with my gun. You need to be careful. Like, do not sneak in and out of my house. Do not.
You will get shot.
Yes. And if I hear someone walking around my windows, if I hear anything, like, you will get shot. And then after that, he was like, he went into the kitchen and he was like, he said something. He was like, I wanted to get a snack last night, but I was scared you would shoot me or something. And I was like, please don't go tell CPS that you just said that.
Don't say that to other people.
I was like, I'm not going to shoot you. Part of me was just part of me was like trying to scare him straight. Like, don't sneak out.
I mean,
the other
it's
part
true.
of me is like, okay, now I've scared him so much that he thinks he's about to get shot
in his own
he's
house.
Getting a snack in the kitchen. I was like, no, it's more like if I hear the front door opening or a window opening or like, like a back door opening.
A door opening that should not be opening.
Yeah, but I made him feel really safe because he came up to me another time and was terrified of something. And I was like, well, I've got the guns over here and I've got this and I've got this. Like, if you're that scared to sleep with your door open.
Yeah.
And he did. He slept with his door open.
Sometimes it be like that.
I need it sometimes too. Like, there's some, like this week, I was just having a hard time sleeping. And I was like, I kind of wish my husband was home because I like need that extra comfort this week.
Yeah.
But other weeks, I'm fine. But it's like when I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't go back to bed, I like my brain, something about my anxiety is really bad in the middle of the night. It doesn't stop. I don't have a way to be like, okay, that was a bad idea. Like, I'll wake up the next morning and be like, why did that keep me up so long? Like, why was that scaring me so bad?
Yeah.
But Landon also told me this week that he felt something drag his comforter off his bed as he was falling asleep the other night.
You weren't going to like lead with that?
I said, did you
today?
wake? I had it written down. I completely skimmed over it. But I was like, so when you like woke up, was it off of you? And he was like, well, I don't know. I just kind of like grabbed it more and rolled over. And I was like, Landon, was my friend Janie, I don't know if she listens, but Janie, she lived in, actually a house that Echo used to live in. She lived in Echo's old house
Which
on
one?
like K Street, by Hall, where those houses are if you kept going to like QT. And there's those like 3 rows. She lived in one of those houses and Echo moved out or whatever. Ryan's family moved in and it was, Janie was like living there. And she said one night her dog Gypsy, which is like a blue heeler, she said Gypsy was like, and like, like at the door. And Janie like woke up and looked at the door and saw a black figure and like just like walked towards it, turned the bedroom light on and was like, shut up, Gypsy, there's nothing there. Laid down and went back to sleep. She doesn't care. She's like, I don't care. Like,
my God,
yeah,
girl.
she was like, nothing ever has really happened to me again since then. And I'm like, yeah, because you just
don't pay attention to it.
You just defied the physics of it. I was like, it's like Monsters Inc. where it's like, well, I didn't scare her good enough. Like, you just hurt that demon's feelings.
Yeah, right.
Now he's got to go scare someone else. And I'm a total victim. Like, he's going to get me instead.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, well, Landon's story, I was like, maybe it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if I've told you before, the exploding head syndrome where you like are about to fall asleep and you hear like a knock or whatever and it's not actually there, it's just like in your head. But I've had that same dream where something's pulling my blankets off of me, but I actually saw the figure. And when I woke up, I was halfway down my bed. It was when me and Mom lived in those duplexes in Peaster.
No.
Yeah, and she was already at work. I was like,
oh God.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say something about the haunted hair salon, but
oh yeah,
we can talk about that another time.
My favorite thing is you're like, and if you look in the background, I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I was like, actually, never mind.
What was at first? I was like, I thought it was a TV in the background, and then I was like,
basically, we got a request from a listener for us to come stay the night at their hair salon. that is haunted. That is very haunted that I've heard about for years. And they reminded me about it, and they're like, you guys are more than welcome to come stay overnight.
Her name sounds very familiar, but I'd have to see her face.
Alicia?
Mm-hmm.
You know her.
I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
I just can't.
You know her. At the hair salon.
That's at the hair salon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
By our old tanning salon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the most random thing. Our family owned a tanning salon for like
5 minutes.
It was the weirdest shit. Because I was like, this is going to be so cool when I'm 16. I'm going to work here. And then Honey was like, I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about right now?
What do you mean?
What are you talking about right now?
Yeah, we owned it for like 5 minutes.
You know what else I still have? Absolute gems. Absolute gems. The original 2033 tank top. And an original Cowgirl Junkie tank top.
Oh, you have those?
I have two. I have the blue sparkle tank top, Cowgirl Junkie.
Oh my God, cute.
Or it's black, but then has the
with
blue.
the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I love that. I don't have any.
I am a Mementos t-shirt girly.
I am too, but I don't have any of those.
I do have an original Cowgirl Junkie and an original 2033.
I love the 2033.
Yeah.
It's good times,
What
man.
a time to be alive, bro.
That's like a whole lifetime ago.
Yeah,
Truly.
it's so weird. Such a vibe, though. Like,
I know.
we're at the grand opening playing with fake chicken
Food.
upstairs.
Yeah. What the fuck? Oh, no. What the fuck?
We're crying.
Oh my God.
You're not even facing it. Fuck off.
I saw it out of the corner of my eye.
You looked at me. I said,
We're not going to do well outside of here.
both of our eyes watering. I know.
Oh my God.
For reference, our cabinet just closed.
Like,
Slowly.
slowly. Oh my God.
My heart's racing.
I'm going to vomit.
We're both instantly crying. I'm just looking around now. I'm like, if the curtain moves, I'm gone.
Yeah, I think we have to go.
My favorite things we've talked about, we're like, okay, so we're going to like use a voice box recorder thing and come in here at nighttime one time and record an episode. We see one scary thing and we both start crying.
Oh my God. That was so sickening. Because I just barely saw it and you were like, excuse me, what? Mm-mm. No, I have to go.
Time to sign off.
I have to get out of here. I'm going to jump off the balcony here in a second. Gotta go.
I'm crying.
Okay. I think that was the ghost's way of telling us to shut the fuck up.
Get the fuck out of here right now.
Because we've just been rambling. So anyway,
my nose is watering and so are my eyes.
thanks so much for listening. I hope that you really enjoyed the story of Mary Vincent. She's badass. She's incredible. Go watch the I Survived episode. Follow us on TikTok since it's still alive. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe, like, share.
Do it all.
All the things. Send us ghost stories. Send us murder stories.
Do it all. I'm scared.
Landrey just keeps looking at the cabinet.
I'm scared, okay? I really my nose.
Just in case, though, for real, if you're here from TikTok, follow us on Instagram just in case it goes away again because I can't handle that.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, what are we going to do?
Right.
I don't even watch TikTok. That's the thing that scared me. I was scared for us.
Mm-hmm. So just, continue to support us on other platforms. And we love you and we're glad you're here. That's all I got.
Yeah. We'll
Anything
see you.
else?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm like, we'll see you next week. I gotta go. I gotta go.
All right. We will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.